Ms. Brown, you're suing Ms. Jenkins for $350.
Correct. She took that $350 that was unauthorized out of the rent. And here's my position, Your Honor. While I do have a plumber that's very good and reputable, he just happened to have been out of town. But I've been in LA all my life, and my boyfriend had been given the opportunity. 20 minutes is not enough time to decide someone can't fix a leak. And the rudeness of throwing him out, we had some animosity as to why she would treat him that way. However, I still went to find another resource that would have been a lower cost, and by the time I did that, she had already made the decision of how much of my money.
Decision. Right. Because you didn't call her and say, hey, I actually did get in touch with a plumber that could come out tomorrow. They're charging $125. They're going to look at what the damage is and then let me know what the parts are.
Exactly.
You didn't say that, correct?
Correct.
All right.
Exactly.
So
she decided how she
let me, I've heard enough.
Yes,
what's happening here is that the lines are blurred between family, right, and a true landlord-tenant situation. And this is where things get difficult. When you try to help family, you love your family, you want them to be safe, you want the best for them, right? And you say, hey, of course you can rent my duplex. Come on over here. You got a lease. You're going month to month. You got that far. I'm proud of you both for at least having a written lease, because many times family come in here and there's some type of landlord-tenant dispute and issue. There's no lease, nobody got nothing decided. You guys did decide something. You did say that you would be responsible for those repairs. At the end of the day, Ms. Jenkins, you did have to allow Ms. Brown the opportunity to cure those damages within a reasonable time, okay? And so what is reasonable? That's what this court has to look at. During a time when there's significant rains, and it's hard to get a plumber, it may take a little longer. But if her sink is leaking out water, I'm concerned as a landlord why you wouldn't jump on that and be okay with paying the additional funds that she obviously was willing to pay for an emergency house call, because that water damage could damage your property.
Exactly.
It could leak over and come over into your unit.
And that's what I told her. I feel like I saved the duplex from getting even worse.
So this is where I'm at with this. The problem is that once she sent her boyfriend, this is where the lines get blurred, and it's interesting because you will accept a reduced rent as her niece, right? You're going to accept that hookup because that's your auntie, right? But then when she tries to save a little money and says, my boyfriend is not a plumber, but he's very handy. Let him come over there and look at it. He might be able to stop the water. It seems to me that when aunt had him come over, if you would have just gave him a little moment, he might not have been able to change the pipes out, but he may have been able to just stop the leak for a minute to give you a reprieve from water, but you didn't give that opportunity, right? So you're willing to accept a cheaper rental rate because of familiarity and convenience, but you weren't able to accept the help because of familiarity and convenience, right? Now, ultimately, Ms. Brown, this situation for me is interesting because you are the owner of the duplex.
Correct.
So this whole thing where I just told him to get out and he can't, this is your niece. This for her, you to call her and say, no, he's coming back in to try to stop that water.
Right.
Okay, so sit down. That's where you use your auntie power, right? So at the end of the day, I think this is about being a little bit too familiar and trying to be in a lessee-lessor relationship with someone you love, someone that's family, the lines are blurred. She feel like you too much in her business, feel like you're not doing enough and sending over somebody you know. You all each other, I can tell that from this testimony. You weren't communicating, and I think we'll split the difference on what you are asking for. At the end of the day, I do believe you should have called the emergency plumber, but you did send someone over to mitigate that you later decided you want him to try. Let's split the difference. Judgment for the plaintiff for $175. And I hope this doesn't affect your relationship. Family first, all right? Court is adjourned.